Hey guys, so today we're gonna have a look at how to join the advanced locomotion system with the female mannequin character. And at the end, it's gonna look something like this, where we can have our character running around, everything's working as intended. We got the ragdolls working, we got the IK working, and yeah, we're gonna go step by step and put it into practice. So I'll see you in a bit. Now, the only thing I did in this project right now, I created a blank project and I imported the female mannequin content. Then I went to maps and I opened the third person example map. Okay. Now we're gonna start this way because the advanced locomotion system only allows you to create projects. And it would have been easy for me just to create the project with the advanced and then add the female mannequin. But some people may want to know the workflow of like adding the advanced locomotion system into the current existing project. So that's what we're going to see now. So I created a project because, as I said, that's the only thing you could do with the advanced locomotion. And then I click on the advanced locomotion version 4 here, click migrate. That's okay, we want everything that is in there. And now we're gonna find the current project that we're working on. So in my case, it's female and locomotion. Then we go into content, and that's the folder we need to select. Okay, the migration has succeeded, but don't close this project yet because you're gonna need it. We're gonna go into edit, project settings. We are gonna go to input under engine, and then you can see in here we have like several inputs. So if you didn't know, you can actually import and export inputs. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna export these inputs, and we're gonna call input locomotion. It doesn't really matter what you name it. We're gonna save it under our desktop, for instance. And now if we go into our other project, we can come into the same path, project settings, engine, input, import this time. And now we're gonna go into our desktop, and here it is, open. And now if we expand those, we can see that yeah, we just imported all the inputs and outputs correctly. Great. One step closer. Okay. So just to verify, I'm gonna open the level of the advanced locomotion. It's probably on environment. Now this is a good trick. Like I don't know exactly where the map is. Well, oh, I see levels. Right, but in case you didn't know, there's also filters. I don't see people using them that often. And if you click on level, we can see there's only 2 levels in this folder. So I think anyone would work in our case. So we're just gonna open any of them and see that the inputs actually work. And they do work. Apologies if that was too loud. Okay, so at this point, what we can do is just simply iterate on this character, right? Also, if you didn't know, now I want to find this blueprint character, but I don't want to go and browsing through all the folders. So what you can do is you can left click and then press Control plus B, and then it will guide you where that blueprint lives. So now I'm gonna iterate on the character directly if you want, and if you're doing this for the first time, I highly recommend so you do a duplicate. But for my case, I'm just gonna work on it. So we're just gonna open this, and we're gonna dock it. We're gonna go into the viewport, and now we're about to start changing things here. So now we wanna come into our advanced the female mannequin. We're going to go into maps, the third person again, because we're gonna do the same thing. If you come in here, you can start to see the components that this is made on. So for our purposes, let's see, let's just grab the one that is split into 3 parts. Although for the workflow that I'm going to show, you could perfectly go with as many as you want, but just for the sake of simplicity. So I'm going to left click and Control B, and I'm going to select this. I'm actually going to start from the head. So select the head, cool. Now I'm gonna go into the mesh inherited, and I'm gonna swap that face. Great. Now this is gonna become important that you do. I'll explain why later, once we have the whole system working. But basically, you wanna add the next meshes to be children of these mesh inherits. So if I come into the upper part, I go into add component, skeletal mesh upper. That happens if you have it selected already in here. It would immediately, when you try to add a skeletal mesh, it would try to add the one that you have selected. And also something that you might have missed, it's because I had the mesh selected, the inherited one, it's gonna add it as a children. Okay, that is something that Unreal does by default when you have it selected. If I didn't, I'm gonna show you how you could do it as well. So I'm gonna select the legs, add the lower part, and you can see that this is no longer a children because of the rotational location. But if I move it here, and then I reset the rotations and locations, boom, there it is, on place, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna see in the next part how we can like properly retarget all these characters so that it start working with the animation. Okay, I'll see you there. Hey, welcome back, guys. So as you see here, I splitted the view so that we have like both the skeleton of the female character and the mannequin skeleton from the locomotion system. Okay. Now, if you don't know how to find these, don't worry about it. The advanced locomotion is under character assets, mannequin skeleton, meshes, and it's the animan. And for the other one, you should be able to click Control B on any of these, open, and then go skeleton like that. Okay, cool. And the way I splitted the view is just by pressing the Windows key plus one of the arrows to the right, and yeah, it would talk perfectly. Okay, so now let's get started. I'm gonna link a sheet below in the description that is gonna indicate some of the bones that you need to add. Pretty much the hierarchy of bones is very similar, but we are missing these virtual bones that got added in the engine, and as far as I know, there's no way to pass them directly. But if you know any way to pass them directly, I would love to know in the comments. Okay, so let's get started, right? We're gonna start from the first. I'm just gonna walk you through some of them, and then I hope you can walk through the rest on your own. So we're gonna go through hand L in here. Here we go. And we're gonna create a virtual bone. And then it's in here it asks for the target bone, right? So if you're looking at the sheet, we already in the hand L. Now we're looking for the target, which is IK underscore hand underscore gun. Okay. So now we click on it, and boom, there we go. And we need to name it also appropriately. So F2 to rename. LHS sorry, IK hand underscore gun. There we go. And that's all you have to do. Okay, and so we are back. Now I got all my virtual bones ready, and please double check that everything is in place. And one way to increase readability is if you come into options in here and you show mesh bones instead of all bones, because these ones that say end, they're not getting used. So yeah, it's just better to increase readability to have it like this. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the blueprint, and remember, if you don't know how to find the blueprint, you just click on this guy and Control V, right? And now we're gonna go into one of the components by clicking on it and click the magnifying glass. I'm gonna choose the lower portion of it. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to do this thing. Let me see, but first I gotta identify which one is the heads. Okay, so that's the heads. This is the lower part, and this is the upper part. I'm just selecting like this by pressing Control on them. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna right click on one of them, doesn't matter which one. We're gonna go to Asset Actions, Bulk Edit via Property Matrix. And don't worry about it, this seems super confusing, but all we're gonna do is we're gonna point to a different skeletal. So in here we can see it's the female mannequin, the skeletal. If we expand the mesh, we're gonna click into these pick assets, and we're gonna choose the ALS mannequin skeleton, which is the skeletal of the actual locomotion system. So now we're gonna press Ctrl S to save everything, and we are gonna choose the ALS animation class. Use animation blueprint. Oops, sorry. I believe it's this one. And there we go, it's moving, yeah? Now we can see the head moving only, and that's because we didn't assign the what do you call it? The animation blueprint. Now you might be tempted to go by one and add the animation to them, but there's actually a quite handy node in Unreal for, and this is used on Fortnite for modular characters. I'm gonna also post a link in the description about this method because I think it's worth that you understand it. So we're gonna go into this construction script, and the node is already in here, which is set master pose by component. Set master pose component, sorry, not by. What this does basically, there is gonna be a master bone component, which in our case is the head, that is gonna be driving all the animation, and then it's gonna pass it to all the other components. So you don't need to assign any other blueprints to this one. The only thing you have to do in here is we're gonna make some space by moving this, and then we're gonna drag the upper while holding control and dragging, and the lower, and we're gonna assign those to the target as well. You can connect as many as you want, so if you have more parts than I do, that's also fine. Then we're gonna compile and save, and here we have it, full character. Now we're getting some errors, and we're gonna get to those, but most importantly, I want you to understand what is happening here. So if we didn't assign these two guys into this node, right, if we would have instead selected them and just use the ALSL and MVP, okay, look what happens when I jump. Things start to break. You can see the heads is starting to come off, right? So now why is this happening? Let's reset this to be none, and this one to be none as well, because we don't want any mistakes. Now this is happening because they are not synchronized. They're running the same animation because the same conditions are getting met, but they're not synchronized. This node is going to help so that because you're driving all the animation through one component and the other ones are attached, and they're just going to follow, the same data. So once again, see, we're jumping, everything is in place, perfect. Now the other thing that I didn't cover, that I said I was going to cover, and I'm going to do it now, it's why are they attached like this, right? So let's say we go into the viewport and we actually, just let it without being a child. See, when jumping, nothing happens, but when I do the rolling, it breaks, okay? So we're gonna attach it to the mesh again, and that way it makes it so that everything is all cohesive, because yeah, since this is driving all the animation, they should be like children's so that they have the same location and stuff, and that way everything is in perfect sync. Okay, so let's jump now into the error sections, and I'll see you there. Okay, so this is our list of errors, and it's pretty extensive, but most of them are basically because we set up like a new character. So let's see. We get access none trying to read the property heads reset colors. This is basically because this blueprint had a functionality to switch colors. So we're gonna jump directly to here. Okay. And we can see that this is a function that is called set and reset colors. Okay. So we can come into here into the function section, and we see we have a coloring system, and we can right click, find references, and we can see that in the construction script is where this coloring thing is happening. So all we're gonna do, like, it's really tempting at this point to delete it and just forget about it, right? But say maybe you want to add the functionality. I think the best way is just to disconnect it by pressing Alt and make a comment. This was for the color system. There we go. Now let's see if we have any more errors when we start playing. We do. Let's see. So this is getting called somewhere. Let's find more what is it called? Set colors. Yeah, let's find the reference of this one. And here's one, but here's another one, which is like update coloring system update. So we can search update coloring system. Oh, here in the event tick. So that's why it was getting called. Bypass it. You can add a comment. I'm just gonna leave it like that. And we're gonna see if we get any more. No, we're clean. Okay, so let's check something now. Switching shoulders works, and you have all these actions to the right, so you can check it out. Now the ragdoll is not working as intended, so we're gonna next look into that. Okay, guys. So this is a pretty easy fix that we're gonna do. Now, if you remember the parts that we check, that we take for the actual character, were this head, the lower part, and this upper part, right? The only thing we need to do is, again, go to Asset Actions, Bulk, Edit via Matrix Property, and in this case, we're gonna go into Physics, and there's a Physics Assets right here. We're just gonna, you're gonna have something different. It's because I just changed it. So all you have to do is the pick asset, and then you pick the Animan Physics asset. Okay. Then remember to Control save everything by Control Shift S. And now if we play, there we go. All's working good now. All right. Okay. So lastly, we're gonna just add hair. So if we come into here and we click on the hair, we can see that it has a slight wind to it, and we can tweak these values if you so desire. So if you come into the asset details and you click on the first element, you should see that we have an instance, and in this instance we have a wind weight and a wind intensity. So let me decrease these, and we can see what that does to the hair. So if we set the weights, you can see that's too much. Let's see, we go 1.5, still too much. 1, no, 0.4, 125, I'd say. And then we can also do the intensity. So if we go 8, that's gonna be too crazy. We do 1, still too crazy. We just want a little bit of movement, but you can tweak these values. And if you wanted to tweak this further, I'm not gonna show you how, but if you want it, you can come into here, General, you can click on the parent, and basically the thing driving this is this simple grass wind, and it's fitting it to the world position offset. So there you go. That's how to do it. So now let's go into adding it to the actual character. So we're gonna have the hair selected, and then we're gonna come into add component. Oh, but don't forget to select the mesh inherited first, because we also need it to be a child. And then we can click on it, and that's perfect. And you see the hair is down at the bottom. Now in here we can actually attach it to a socket, and we're gonna attach it to the head. You can create your own socket if you want to, but yeah, and for my case I'm just gonna use the head. And now this might be a little bit problematic to try to move the thing around while she is moving. So to deactivate this, you can press Ctrl R, or you can come into this little arrow drop down and check real time. So that's gonna freeze her, and it's gonna allow you to rotate things. So in my case, I just need to rotate 90 degrees, and the thing is on place already. Awesome. So yeah, let's have a look. And in here, we can see the other characters. By pressing Q, you can use these different things. And I'm just gonna make sure that everything's working properly. Yeah, awesome, fantastic. Now I wanna point a caveat that you may run into. And if you do, please let me know in the comments. But just in case that you can fix it, if you come into the mesh inherits and we go into this blueprint, you may run into some IK issues with the hands, I found. If that is the case, all you have to do is you come into here, and here's where the IK bones are. You can tweak both the effector and the joint targets, the location of it. So if you see that the hand is like sort of disjointed, you can tweak, you can move it around a little bit until you get the desired result. Typically how that would look like is like when you're aiming with the two hands rifle, that would one of the hands would be like stiff. It almost looks like it's about to break. So that's how you can tweak it, by just like moving that effector and joint target. So this is, I'm trying to replicate it so it looks stiff like that. And what you want to do is you just want to move it back. Okay, so I'm gonna leave mine to 0, 0, 0. There you go, that's perfect. Awesome. Yeah, and if you have any questions, if you'd like me to watch any other implementations, please let me know in the comments. Subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.